I believe that war is always ugly. And though there are justified wars throughout history, there has never been a war where you can say that was, a fortunate thing per se. You may say the outcome was a fortunate thing and it advanced us as people and even advanced human rights and things of that nature, right? Especially when you're dealing with these sort of psychopathic ideologies looking to make their way into the world. But there can never be a war where a single person lost is not deeply unfortunate. At least if you're somebody with the slightest bit of humanity in you, you see it from that perspective. However, when it comes to what I believe is the war that has the entire world's eyes on it currently, which is what is currently taking place in the Middle East, more specifically on the Gaza Strip, between Hamas and their supporters, or basically Hamas and Hamas, right? If you are somebody who is endorsing, supporting, promoting, you are basically a part of that very same mechanism. And the Israeli people, not the government or the government alone, but the Israeli people as a whole, the people of Israel who are fighting tooth and nail for their very own survival. How can I say that with confidence? Because according to Palestinianism, the ideology that backs Palestine from the river to the sea, they look to eradicate Israel from existence. They do not want them to live. They're anti-Zionist, which means that Israel does not have the right to exist, period. In this specific war, and I called it a conflict, and somebody called me out on that, and I actually thought, you know what, you're right. It's not a conflict. It is defense and retaliation. That's what it is. A people defending themselves and also retaliating because they were senselessly attacked. They were senselessly brutalized by their neighbors on the basis of one thing: who they were and what they were. Simple as that. That's the story. Hamas attacks Israel because they hate Jews, period. Now, I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to believe that most of what we are hearing from the other side, which has been the mainstream narrative, right? It seems that Hamas has had this grasp on the mainstream story of what is actually happening in Gaza. I believe that most of it are lies. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't, those poor babies, those innocent babies who, haven't been, lost their lives in the midst of this entire conflict. But to that, I point back to Hamas, because they're the ones who initiated this, and they're the ones who are essentially holding innocent hostages who are committing war crimes whilst being, pandered to and pampered by a lot of these weak Western leaders. It's on them. The innocent women and children are on them. The civilian men who wanted nothing to do with this and maybe didn't even support Hamas, the few, because mind you, these are people who got voted into the position of power that they're currently in by the quote unquote Palestinian people. Quote unquote Palestinian. I didn't misspeak. I say what I said. But I feel like after seeing what I've been seeing from, individuals who have been on the ground sharing a lot of this information, whether they be, true to their word journalists with integrity, or they are everyday people showing their stories, and both are equally as important. But mostly what's been coming directly from the quote unquote Palestinian people has shown me that there are a lot of lies. The starvation lie, right? Israel is starving these people. No, they're not. Israel has been sending aid to these people, which has been a requirement for no other people throughout human history, for any war to be feeding your active enemy. But yet they were feeding them or sending resources, and those resources were being taken, 90% of them being taken by Hamas, and were being used as leverage or, as a way to finance their war efforts, or to further finance. These are, people with billions of dollars of funding. But it goes further than that. It then goes into the narratives of the numbers. How many people, how many casualties versus how many soldiers. And then when we get to the truth, realizing that by ratio, this is one of the best ratios we have seen throughout the history of war. Where you have for, combatant, you have casualty, a damn near 1-for-1. Even if it was a 2-for-1, that would be incredible. Go back in history and you see how many innocent people, how many casualties there were in war, who did not support the war efforts of their own government in the way that many of the quote unquote Palestinians do. And I'm not saying that, again, these kids who have been indoctrinated into jihad deserve it. But there are many who are carriers of this ideology, and it is heartbreaking, unfortunate, and it is the sins of the parents, the sins of the mother and the sins of the father that end this outcome. But I wanted to bring about a couple of these videos that I came across recently that I believe highlight the PALLYWOOD, right? The lies that we have been told and sold. And so here's a video of a young man. I don't know if this has copyright. Okay, yeah. Okay. So for those around, playing along with stage scenes has become second nature. So, these kids are being trained in the art of propaganda, how to siphon sympathy and compassion from the rest of the world, or more specifically, the Western world. Thank God we escaped from the tanks and the quad. So a young man has his phone in his hand, because when you are about to lose your life, the first thing you're thinking of is a vlog, right? Got to make sure your angles are right. Look, here we go. Every day look. This is people in a war-torn nation in shambles, right? Again, we got to pick up everything. You know me. I'm too nosy not to notice. Look at the hair. That boy has got a fresh cut. This one's got curl activator in the hair. He's got a new fit from this day. Look, he got his red fit. Looks like he's freshly showered. Well groomed, well taken care of. No starvation there. Look at that. Beautiful haircut. In the midst of running from these tanks and military. Oh my goodness. Where is a barber around here? I am being attacked. My home is under attack. Where are the barbers? Look at this. Look at the camera. Make sure, okay, you got this. Look. Oh, did we break a smile there? Yep. That's how I would react too. I would crack a little smile while under fire, right? For my folks out there who are suffering from PTSD, who have been in war-torn regions, have been in military, have seen violence up front. This is how you respond, huh? This is what it's like. This is the look that you saw on those kids' faces. A little smirk, plain white tee. I can barely keep this white tee clean right here where I am. Right here. He's got a clean white tee in the midst of. Yep. So I want to show y'all that because, truth be told, it's time for us to start zoning in on the lies. Like, we've played the sympathy and compassionate card for very long. We've allowed the lies to continue to perpetuate while we, give the benefit of the doubt. We've allowed, all these so-called good faith actors, these traitors of sort, the Dave, not so comedian Smiths of the world, and the Tehran Carlsons of the world. We've allowed them to have their megaphones for long enough, lying to us either through their own teeth or through their guests like Mr. Tehran Tucker. So let's get into some of the starvation stories, shall we? This is one of my favorite all time. So this is June 8th, 2025, right? They've been being starved for years now. Man-made famine. Why is it that somehow starvation, allows you to have little brunches like this and allows you to have excess belly fat? It's a different level of starvation, I tell you. Seems like a Western level of starvation, if you catch what I'm throwing. In the West, poor people are oftentimes the most overweight. This is what that's giving. I got to take that sound out. Okay, look at that right there. I'm starving. Can we get a meal out here, guys? We are starving. Look at what the Israelis are doing to us. Look what they are doing to us. I used to get 3 falafels. Now I only got 2. I got 2.5 because I ate the other half, but that's neither here or there. I'm being starved. Look at this. Shakes and ice cream and all the starvation. Oh. Look at this. Can I get the big cone, Daddy? No, you're being starved. You can get the medium-sized one, my son. 2 scoops. You guys are seeing this, right? This looks like one of those food channels. Like the Guy Fieri's of the world. You know, is about to come pay a visit to these guys. Look at that. Packed out. Packed house. Abject poverty. I mean, I can say this, like, damn, if this is how, you know, Hamas is doing y'all, ooh wee. No wonder why they don't want to go to the other, they don't want to go to Afghanistan. They might be doing better than the Egyptians. Maybe that's why they don't want to go there. They want to go to America. They want to go to Europe, where they know they're going to get a better quality of life. Look at that. Greta Thunberg is on her way with more flour. Was this during the ceasefire? That's funny. Please make a reservation in the name of Miss Greta Thunberg and friends. Yeah. Big G's on her way to feed the starving folk. Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Welcome to Palestine. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace. Aquarius. Where? I've been up for hours, I've been up for days, you staring at the ceiling, I've been counting strays, you I've been in my feelings, I've been out of mind, I've been getting visions of the other kind. I've been up for weeks, I'm in the count of blessings over count of sheep. I can never be the type to limit when it comes to me. I used to be the pleaser for the people,